Hey there, CJ Math students. So you can use this video tonight to help you with your quiz corrections. I'm going to go over every solution to Unit 2 quiz. And remember, you need to copy down the answers 3 times to the 5 problems that I've indicated on your quiz on a separate sheet of graph paper. So number 1, I just wrote down automatically. Absolute value is the distance a number is from 0 on the number line. Number 2 I'll do. This says what's the absolute value of -3? It's 3. What's the absolute value of 24? It's 24. And -3 stays exactly the same. So this becomes actually plus a -3. So 3 plus 24 is 27 plus -3 should give you a DSSL problem of an answer of 24. Number 3, order the following numbers in descending order. First, as you move further to the left on the number line, numbers get smaller. So the order should have been the biggest or least negative at the top. So the one closest to 0, and then just fall in after that with numbers going further to the left. So as I order them, I'm looking for that exact answer in my answer key, and I see that C is that answer. Number 4, order these values from least to greatest. First, fill in the absolute value of a number is always positive, so I converted each absolute value there. See how they're 10, 6, and this happens to be 16 because 6 plus 10 is 16. Now I can order them. It would probably even help to write them up here, what we got. So I can order them from least to greatest. So the negative number will obviously go first because that's the smallest, then 4. Then the absolute value of -6 because that's 6, then the absolute value of -10 because that's 10, and then the absolute value, of -6 plus the absolute value of -10 because that's 16. So, and looking for my answer, it looks like D is my answer choice there. Number 5, your friend tries to tell you that -12 is bigger than -4. -12 is actually smaller than -4 because -12 is further to the left on the number line. Number 6, which of the following would you use KCC? You only use KCC when you see subtraction, so that should be a dead giveaway, and everything's out but answer choice C. Number 7, your friend says that 4 plus -7 would give you a positive answer. Explain to him why he's right or wrong. Well, 4 plus -7 would give you a negative answer because this is a DSSL problem, and you have more negatives. The absolute value of -7 is greater than the absolute value of 4, so you're going to keep the negative sign. Now in number 8, I want you to use positive and negative symbols to solve 4 plus -7. Well, we know the answer is -3, right? But if we use symbols, I can show that it's -3. 4 plus signs, 7 negative signs. I'm left with 3 negative signs. That's how I get -3. Number 9, which demonstrates the commutative property of addition. That's just switching the order around. Here, answer choice A is just demonstrating KCC. All they did was keep, change, change to get that. B is actually the correct answer. They switched around, put the negatives together, put the positives together. C is an example of our friend the additive inverse. Adding 2 opposites will give you 0. And D is just an SSAK problem. -6 plus -6 equals 12. So B was your answer choice there. Number 10, I wanted you to change all these problems by using KCC and do addition problems, and then give me the answer. So keep, change, 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 right? So 10 plus -8, sorry, -10 plus -8 gives you -18. -10 plus +8 gives you -2. 10 plus +8 gives you 18, and 10 plus -8 gives you +2. Okay. Backside, we got -4 plus -20. The type is SSAK. And we can just add them up. 20 plus 4 and keep the sign. Should get -24. The type on number 12 is DSSL. We have 29 plus 5, but it's -29, and we want to subtract, because that's what DSSL stands for. 9 minus 5 is 4. 2 minus nothing is 2. Keep the sign of the larger. We had more negatives, so that's why it's -24. Number 13, you need to use KCC first to get -5, plus 3. that left you with a DSSL problem, so basically you just did 5 minus 3. Your answer wasn't 2 though, it was negative 2, because again, you had more negatives than you did positives, so C is your answer. Number 14, again, you had to use KCC first, so keep, change, 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 leave that alone. And then use the commutative property to regroup stuff. So I said negative 10 plus negative 3, because those were negatives, plus 6 plus 8. When I did that, I should have gotten negative 13 plus 14. This is a DSSL problem, different sign, so 14 minus 13 gives me 1, and I had more positives, so that's why my answer is positive 1 and not negative 1. On 15, before you solved it, you should probably have labeled the type of as DSSL, and then gone ahead and said, all right, let me find common denominators. So actually, sorry, I'll do it right here. 1/3 plus negative 1/2. The common denominator is 6, so times 3 times 3 times 2 times 2. Our new fractions are 2 over 6 plus negative 3 over 6. This is a DSSL problem. You have more negatives than you do positives, so negative is your answer. 3 minus 2 is 1. Negative 1/6. A. This type of problem, after I keep, change, change, is again DSSL. You need to borrow on this one, so 5 plus negative 2/3. Borrowing here gives you a 4 plus 3 over 3 plus negative 2/3. After I borrowed, the 3/3 was determined by that denominator right there. So I'll get 4 plus 3 plus negative 2 is a DSSL. So 3 plus negative 2 is positive 1/3. They are the same signs now. And I just get to slap together to say 4 and 1/3. Keep, change, change again. Keep, change, change. So we have a DSSL problem. So we want to subtract 5.62 minus 4.2. Line it up. Maybe fill in a 0 there. 2 minus nothing's 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. Do I have more positives or negatives? I have more positives, so that's why my answer is positive 1.42. Again, I have a DSSL problem number 16. So I want to do 6.2 minus 4.66, right? The number with a higher absolute value goes on top. One number we have more of, right? So I need to borrow in this case because I can't do 0 minus 6. So I make 10 minus 6 is 4. Can't do 1 minus 6, so I borrow again. 11 minus 6 is 5. 5 minus 4 is 1. In this case, this time I have more negatives, so my answer is negative. D. Some of you freaked out on number 19. There was no need to. If you broke it apart, it was actually very simple. So first you use KCC, then you notice they were all negative. So you should have said, hey, SSAK, and then start by breaking everything apart. Negative 3 plus negative 1/2. That's where a lot of people messed up by forgetting to put the negative, plus negative 1/3 plus negative 1 plus, again, negative 1/2. Fractions are also negative when you have a negative whole number. So now if I reorder this with commutative property, I get negative 3 plus negative 1 plus negative 1/2 plus negative 1/2 plus negative 1/3. Some of you might have immediately tried to find common denominators here. Hopefully you realize that negative 1/2 plus negative 1/2 is actually just negative 2 over 2 plus negative 1/3. And hopefully you then realize that negative 2 over 2 is just negative 1. So negative 4 plus negative 1 plus negative 1/3 gives you negative 5 plus negative 1/3. And since this is same signs, I just get to slap them together. And that's how we get negative 5 and 1/3. A is our answer. Kind of a tricky problem, but if you were able to see, oh, I can create 1 out of the halves or negative 1 out of the halves, and they're all the same signs, then it actually wasn't that tricky at all. All right. On number 20, we need to keep, change, change again. And this time you'll notice, hey, it's a DSSL problem. So 2 plus negative 3 plus negative 1/2. Notice I'm again breaking apart the fraction. The whole number is negative, so is the fraction. Maybe I'll put a bigger negative right there. plus 1, then put the wholes together. 2 plus 1 plus negative 3 plus negative 1/2. 2 plus 1 is 3, and then hopefully you realize something. Oh, 3 plus negative 3, that's our old friend, the additive inverse. These guys add up to 0, and now I don't have to worry about borrowing or finding common denominators or anything like that, because 0 plus negative 1/2 is just going to be negative 1/2, making sure that you kept that negative sign throughout your entire problem. That would have avoided you from selecting C. Backside were the word problems, 23 through 25. Hannah has a score of 3 points in a card game, so 3. I'm writing down my addition sentence here. She draws a card that gives her 12 points plus 12, but then loses 22 points, so plus negative 22. Simple kind of DSSL problem after combining 3 plus 12 to get you 15 plus negative 22, and then you're just going to subtract 22 minus 15. Got to borrow. You get 7. Your answer is not 7 points, but negative 7 points because there were more negatives. Number 24, James has a balance of negative 21, so negative 21 plus 2 players land on his property and pay him each 15. This should be very familiar. It's a buzz math problem, so 2 times 15. That's what the 2 parentheses 15 means. It doesn't mean 215. It means multiply 2 by 15. So you've got negative 21 plus 30. And that's again DSSL, so 30 minus 21 will give you, 2, will give you 9, and this time it is a positive 9 because you had more positives than negative, so $9 is what his new balance is after each individual pays him 15. So last question, in a computer game, Savannah has already earned 25, that's positive, so plus 4 times in a row she loses $9, so we're going to say 4 times negative 9, right, losing money, and then 5 times in a row she loses $10, so 5 times negative 10. So first it'd be helpful to find out what those guys equal. So 4 times negative 9 is negative 36, 5 times negative 10 is negative 50, and then it would be helpful to go ahead and add these two like signs together. So negative 36 plus 50 gives you negative 86. So bring on down 25. So 25 plus negative 86, that's a DSSL. 86 minus 25. 6 minus 5 is 1. 8 minus 2 is 6. So you should be left with negative $61. Okay? Please make sure that you copy whatever 5 problems I wrote right here 3 times on a separate sheet of graph paper to get some points back. That is your homework for the night. Call me if you have questions.